we're going to read today is called Tidy, and it's written by Emily Gravett. Deep in the forest lived a padger called Pete, who tidied and cleaned and kept everything neat. He tidied the flowers by checking each patch and snipping off any that didn't quite match. He tidied the fox by grooming his fur. He untangled each knot and each twig and each blur. He tidied the birds from the big to the small by brushing their beaks and then bathing them all. He picked up stray sticks, and he swept and he rubbed, and he polished the rocks, and he scoured and he scrubbed. He's even hoovering the forest. So when a leaf fell, well, they all fell. And Pete tidied up. But he still wasn't happy. Now the trees looked bare and scrappy, and so, to make it all look neat, Pete undertook a mighty feat. He dug up every single tree. But then it rained, and there was a flood. And afterwards, a lot of mud. Pete called in the diggers, and he called in the mixers, and he called in the concrete, the rakers and the fixers. No mud, no leaves, no mess, no trees. Perfectly tidy, perfectly neat. The forest is practically perfect, said Pete. I'm hungry, he thought. I deserve a treat. So he hunted around for something to eat. But the beetles and worms that he usually found were under the concrete, deep in the ground. And so Pete decided to go home instead. If he couldn't have dinner, he'd go straight to bed. But when he arrived and took out his key, there wasn't a door where the door used to be. All of his house is underground. And later that night, Pete tossed and he turned. His belly was empty, it rumbled and churned. And as he lay in his mixer, wide awake, he started to think, I've made a mistake. So, the very next morning, when it got light, he set about trying to put everything right. Then the animals came, from the strong to the weak, and they lent him a paw or a claw or a beak. They put everything back as it always had been, but maybe less ordered and not quite as clean. And Pete, well, he promised to tidy up less, but if he succeeded is anyone's guess. And there you are, the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're listening to lots of other stories. Thank you.